Hello, this is Alexandru Oravițan, and on behalf of the extended team of the Center for Corpus-Related Digital Approaches to Humanities from the West University of Timisoara, I am delighted to be delivering the current presentation titled Does Romanian School Writing Support Multidimensional Competence Building? A Linguistically Informed Assessment Model, which I have co-authored with Mădălina Chitez and Roxana Rogobete. This presentation ostensibly focuses on writing in the secondary school context. It is clear that school students have to write in order to enhance learning and develop multidimensional competences. The Romanian national syllabi are built by taking into consideration the key competences for lifelong learning, addressed in the European reference framework of the European Parliament. From this perspective, the current national curriculum asserts a skills-based approach to teaching writing, which should be manifest in the learning objectives concerning writing at the systemic level. However, no research has been conducted until now to evaluate the effectiveness of the didactic materials to support such objectives. Given this gap, we aim to assess the relationship between the way in which writing tasks have been formulated and the competencies which they target, manifestly centered around the connection between critical thinking and writing itself. We have taken a twofold approach as far as methodology is concerned. Namely, we have based our endeavor on what we call the linguistic approach, consisting of typical corpus linguistics methods. First, by building a dataset, then extracting n-grams, building a verb list, and assessing the relevant frequencies. This is coupled with a contrastive approach in which the tasks themselves are confronted with the syllabus upon which they are based and Bloom's revised taxonomy of educational objectives, one of the most significant developments at the heart of much pedagogical scholarship and reform concerning the correlation between tasks and learning outcomes. The premise that the connection between critical thinking and writing is essential is supported by scholarly literature. Writing becomes a means towards achieving higher critical thinking skills and engaging with a variety of discourses. This is made evident particularly in connection to argumentation assignments. Thus, the notion of constructing one's own arguments in the classroom setting becomes pivotal. This is not achievable without the proper vocabulary, which should be carefully selected and adapted to the student's level of comprehension. Moreover, some types of writing assignments are specifically correlated with Bloom's taxonomy of educational objectives. It might not be hazardous to claim that the higher the study level, the higher the threshold one should attain by following Bloom's taxonomy in complex areas such as analysis, synthesis, and evaluation, as noted by Williams. Such investigations are at the heart of what we do at the Center for Corpus-Related Digital Approaches to Humanities. In order to compensate for the lack of use of digital methods in the humanities in Romania, a team of researchers from the Faculty of Letters, History and Theology of the West University of Timisoara founded the corpus Research Center in October 2019, which aims to bridge the gap between philological research and digitalization in order to obtain immediate results with an applicative character in the trans and interdisciplinary spectrum. Thus, CODHUS is a research center which promotes the multidisciplinary use of digital methods related to corpus linguistics. Our center has a strong applicative character because we aim to offer practical solutions for teaching, learning, or large-scale use, such as software solutions for universities or the pre-university environment in areas as diverse as language teaching, translation tools, digital teaching methods, online resources such as web pages, digital guides or databases, and training in digital humanities. The strategy that we follow is that of adapting to and from the educational environment in order to enable digital humanities pedagogies and to encourage the digital transformation in both research and practice connected to the humanities. Our work is mainly centered around university students, which is supported by the corpora which we have compiled, such as Roger, a bilingual student writing corpus, and Express, a bilingual expert writing corpus. In the past 2 years, we have also focused on the pre-university level in order to better understand our students' needs and to adapt the curriculum accordingly. The material at the basis of our present study, focusing on building a linguistically informed assessment model for multidimensional competence building, consists of 3 8th grade textbooks for the Romanian Language and Literature school subject, which have been approved by the Romanian Ministry of Education and have been written according to the objectives and expectations of the latest national syllabus, which has been in place since 2017. From the 3 textbooks, we have selected a total of 105 writing tasks, 35 from each book, which we have compiled into a corpus we have dubbed ROTEX. This corpus was processed with a query system familiar to most corpus linguists, namely Sketch Engine. We were mainly interested in producing an n-gram list and a verb list according to their relative frequency, which we then assigned to each of the stages in Bloom's taxonomy of educational objectives, and also by relating these words to the expectations enshrined in the syllabus itself. The n-gram results reveal a strong reliance on creation, which means producing new or original work in the form of writer text of various genres, argumentative or narrative, and application, namely using information in new situations by respecting spelling norms and word limits, along with demonstrating the adequacy of the produced content in relation to the given task. The categories of evaluation, analysis, and understanding are poorly represented, with 1 n-gram for each, most focusing on arguing a point of view, following a logical succession, and describing an occurrence, respectively. In terms of verbs, the most representative also come from the area of creation, such as write, imagine, or formulate, a total of 72 occurrences, followed by understanding, with verbs such as present, express, integrate, describe, explain, and report, totaling 65 occurrences. A close third is represented by application, with 58 occurrences of verbs such as adhere to, use, and conduct. However, the distant 4th and 5th are evaluation, with 27 occurrences of verbs such as value, comment upon, support, and justify, and analysis, with only 12 occurrences of the verbs highlight and relate. The results showcase that most n-grams and verbs target creation, namely 5 n-grams with 47 occurrences and 4 verbs with 72 occurrences, which is the highest end of Bloom's taxonomy. One cannot but wonder whether this reliance on creation might be too excessive, particularly given the student's study level. Moreover, other n-grams and verbs showcase an imbalance. While verbs imply understanding, n-grams focus on application. This imbalance is also seen in the disregard for analysis, with 2 verbs with 2 occurrences and 1 n-gram with 5 occurrences, and evaluation, 4 verbs with 27 occurrences and 1 n-gram with 6 occurrences. Thus, the need for correlation between verbs and set phrases used in task formulation presents itself. Indeed, most of the verbs scrutinized are not part of the n-grams, which focus more on genre than on the actions expected from students. Yet, one does have to acknowledge that these findings may only be supported by a larger study, which would involve the entire secondary education level. Our presentation closes with a series of open questions. Through the case study on the 8th grade textbooks, Romanian school writing indicates a need for systematic investigations of the written tasks students receive and their adaptation to the curriculum required competences, the study level as far as age-specific cognitive skills are concerned, and the preoccupation with multidimensional competence building. But this seems to be poorly implemented in practice since it lacks systematic task complexity growth, structured content, for example, written genre analysis and description followed by a written task, and linguistic complexity didactic verifications. A series of main questions remain to be answered by future studies. Namely, is the linguistic profile of writing task assignments clear and adapted for complexity level so that students can address the writing task easily? Secondly, is the linguistic profile of writing task assignments correlated with the complexity of reading text, such as readability indices? And thirdly, do students have problems understanding their writing tasks and conducting writing activities due to the reading and writing requirements that are too complex and exceed their level of cognitive development? If any of the aspects presented here have triggered your interest, do not hesitate to get in touch with us. We welcome all forms of feedback and are open to actively engaging with all of the participants and viewers of this presentation. On behalf of the Chitez team, we wish you a fruitful conference with lots of insightful presentations and a warm thank you to everyone.